Let me tell you something. Nothing wakes you up to the reality of home ownership in America, like having a pack of strangers try to evict you before you've even unpacked your toothbrush. No, seriously, picture this. I'm standing in my brand new living room, still echoing because the furniture hadn't shown up yet, holding a roll of packing tape and grinning like a fool because, hey, I'd finally done it. I was a homeowner. The keys were still warm from the closing table, my name shining on the deed utilities set to flip over the next morning, and I hadn't even figured out which light switch turned on what. I hadn't cooked an egg on the stove or spent a single night under my own roof. Then you know how it goes less than 2 hours after I'd signed a stack of paperwork thick enough to repave the driveway. Here comes a parade up my walk, like they were serving royal papers. Leading the charge is Geraldine. She calls herself the president of the Homeowners Association, voice sharp as a stapler, hair helmet tight flanked by her trusty lieutenants. Troy, compliance chair arms folded like he's got a parking ticket stashed somewhere, and Minka and Seth both clinging to clipboards like they're badges. Geraldine flashes what I think was supposed to be a smile and lays down the law. Welcome to the neighborhood. Before your moving truck arrives, you need to sign this 100% membership guarantee. No exceptions. I'm standing there thinking, my what now? Troy shoves this paper under my nose, bold text. Everywhere watermark eagle that looks straight off a clip art CD-ROM, and starts rattling off rules about dues, fines, future rules, the whole sign here or else routine. Apparently no moving truck sets tire on this street until I pony up a cashier's check, agree to future fines, post a compliance bond, and basically surrender before I've picked a paint color for the front door. And get this all before I've even seen their so-called governing documents. Now my friends call it my IT help desk face. Look, you give someone who swears they didn't change anything right before their computer blue screens. That's the face I made reading binding pre-occupancy commitment. So I tell them, calm as can be, I'm happy to read your documents, but my contract didn't mention any association. And there's nothing in the deed. Geraldine sighs like punctuation and says, oh, we're finalizing with our attorney. It's the custom here, everyone joins, always has. I ask if it's recorded with the county, because that's the only way any of this is legal. Dead silence. Even the wind seemed to be laughing at them. Minka finally chimes in. We can't allow non-compliant owners. We've had problems. Problems, I repeat, like what someone's front door was too blue. Geraldine pushes forward all business. Just sign the guarantee, write the check, and put down a compliance deposit or refuse and we'll evict you. Fast-track process. Right then and there, I realized this isn't just about nosy neighbors. This is some next-level self-appointed power trip. I flip over their paper, see today's date, notice the line about unanimous consent of residents, and feel my blood pressure doing jump rope. Here's where I get a little spicy. I pull out my phone, hit record, and say, Geraldine, plain and simple, I bought a single-family home. There's no association on my deed or title. You can't force me to join something that doesn't legally exist, no matter how many clipboards you wave at me. Troy just smirks. We've evicted people for less. Well, not today. My moving truck wasn't coming until the morning, but I had a mattress, a cooler, and that giddy sense of finally escaping apartment hell, which, let me tell you, evaporated faster than a puddle in Phoenix. I thank the clipboard brigade and shut the door, but they don't leave. Geraldine declares, we'll wait. Right on my porch, like it's the DMV. So I call my title officer. Hypothetical for you, I say. Someone claims there's an association, insists on a pre-occupancy contract, but there's nothing in the title search. What would you say? She laughs, tells me if it's not recorded, it's not binding. No resale certificate, no estoppel letter, no dice. She even emails me the full title packet plus a screenshot showing 0 HOA covenants. Maybe talk to a local lawyer, she suggests. Cue my second lifeline. Kia, a real estate attorney I know from volunteering. She listens, then laughs, then gets serious. They're pressuring you into a contract. If there's no record, they can't force it. And if they try to block your moving truck on a public street, call the sheriff. And document everything if they keep threatening. That's something consumer protection loves. Well, now I've got a plan. I write a polite but ironclad conditional guarantee I'll join any legally recorded association with actual authority. I even attach my title report and CC everyone from the title officer to my mortgage company for good measure. I hand it to Geraldine, who sniffs at it like I'd handed her a dead fish. Troy reads it, lips moving. "This isn't our form," he grumbles. "I just say my form is what a judge would call reasonable. Yours isn't." Geraldine threatens to tow my moving truck. I tell her if you tow it from a public street without a court order, that's theft and fraud if you claim authority you don't have. Next morning, a neon sign is taped to my mailbox. No move-ins without HOA approval. I peel it off, roll my eyes, and spot a tow truck idling at the end of the street. Two guys in vests watching my movers like it's a stakeout. I do three things at once: call the sheriff's non-emergency line, set up my phone on a tripod to stream everything, and bring those guys a cooler of bottled water. "You here for the HOA?" I ask. They grunt, "Don't meet my eye," and I slide them paperwork showing there's no authority here. "If you touch my truck, you'll end up in a consumer complaint video, just so we're clear." Meanwhile, Geraldine and her squad have set up a little folding table on Minka's lawn, handing out neon vests like it's a block party gone wrong. Then the sheriff's deputy arrives, tall, calm, with that look of someone who's seen this show before. He asks for my deed, the emails, the whole mess. He listens, then walks over to Geraldine, asks for a court order. She tries to bluff. Our attorney is re-recording everything. He just shakes his head, says, "You can't block a public street. You want to sue, but you can't stop this truck." Geraldine shuts up. The tow truck rumbles away and the deputy gives me a little nod before driving off. I email the whole ordeal to Consumer Protection with all the screenshots and case numbers. You bet I did. And here's where it gets good. My neighbor Lark, hat pulled low, walks over, saw the show. He says, nodding at Minka's lawn, "They do this to everyone. Fined me for my dog's water bowl. Tried to lien my house, but my lawyer told them to shove it. There's no HOA in the deed." I ask why folks put up with it. He shrugs. "Some people just don't know better. Easier to pay than fight." Well, that's not how this mule is built. It's not how. Adley, another neighbor, drops by, forearms, like she could arm wrestle a tree. Says they tried to ban her. Little front yard library told her it privatized the commons. She told them the only thing privatized was her front door. We both laugh. Apparently, I'm not the only one who likes facts. We swap stories, and I realize this neighborhood's got a backbone just waiting for a reason to flex. Boxes unloaded, kettles set up because tea fixes everything, and I allow myself a few minutes to imagine a life here without the clipboard circus. Sun pooling on the floors, herb garden, and back neighbors who just wave and let you be. Then ding Geraldine again. She rejects my guarantee, threatens legal action if I don't sign her form by tomorrow. I fire back, "Have your attorney contact mine," and I ask for all her association records, bylaws, budgets, members, the works. I didn't expect them to cough up anything, but it was time to start a paper trail. That night I can't sleep, so I pull up the county website, double-check my parcel. Deeds clean, no covenants, no association. I start a timeline porch visit tow truck. Sheriff neighbor notes. I send a simple letter to 5 houses. "Hey, I'm new, gathering info on any association. Let me know your stories. Not opinions, just facts." The next morning, 3 emails, a voicemail. Someone sends me a violation notice for a mailbox planter, another a fake tow letter, and a guy offers to share a whole folder of correspondence. I brew coffee and start a spreadsheet. Threats, payments, legal basis, outcomes. Patterns pop up. I forward everything to the Consumer Protection Division. They reply by noon, "Real investigator, not a form letter, wants more info." Now we're getting somewhere. Lark shows up with a manila envelope, copies of letters from the so-called HOA, threats to enter, property demands for bonds, you name it. I ask what happens if you pay the bond. He says, they keep it. If you violate anything, happened to Mila down the street for a trash can left out. And right then, irritation turns into purpose. I call Kia. I want to help my neighbors, and I want them stopped. She says we push on 3 tracks: regulatory, civil, and internal. So we organize. Letters go out, cease and desist for misrepresentation, warning to the tow company, affidavit to the county to flag my parcel as no covenants. Lark and Adley help canvass the street. 10 neighbors cram into my living room with cookies and stories. Some paid dues for years out of habit. Others stopped when the threat started. We talk boundaries, public streets, voluntary versus mandatory, and decide to build something better. A voluntary commons fund. 2 signatures required, everything transparent. No fines, no threats. Then the final warning lands in my mailbox, and I just slide it into a plastic sleeve, tape it to my timeline, and smile. Now we're really rolling. Next day, a deputy serves a mandatory compliance hearing notice, pure theater, no court caption. We file for an injunction, and Consumer Protection opens a case. Turns out Geraldine's association was a dissolved nonprofit, and Lark's got a check showing dues deposited into her personal account. That's the twist right there. It's not just power tripping, it's plain old grift. Court day. Kia stands up and says tradition isn't title. She shows the judge everything. No covenants, fake eviction threats, dead corporation money in a personal account. The judge slams the brakes. Geraldine's crew can't claim mandatory authority, can't tow, can't assess dues or fines without voluntary agreements. Has to send a notice to all residents. Membership is voluntary. Consumer Protection wraps up with civil penalties, forced refunds, a bit of nonprofit law education. Clipboards disappear. Geraldine lists her house, no mandatory HOA, and moves out. We help her pack because, well, we're neighbors. Now, the little park's officially city-adopted. The Commons Fund fixes what needs fixing, and lemonade stands help pay for benches and plants. When a new moving truck rolls in, the driver asks, "Am I allowed to park here?" And we all answer, "Yes." "Do you need approval?" "Nope." "Here's a welcome letter and a bottle of water. If anyone asks you to join an association, ask to see the paperwork." Here promises live in the open. My basil's happy in the window, my house is my own, and the only thing taped to my mailbox is a yard sale flyer. So let me ask, would you have stood your ground? Or just written the check? Ever dealt with a fake HOA or a neighbor on a power trip? Drop your story below. Tell me where you're watching from, and if you believe property rights still matter in America. Thanks for listening, friends. See you next time.